And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! KO! Here's the cover.
Hey, what's up guys? And we're back here today for what the tank you've all been waiting for, I guess. Which is what everybody grinds for. I would imagine it would be the tier 10s. And today we're looking in the UK lights at the Manticore. And specifically, this first game is legitimately my first game in the tank. I luckily actually got Mally the first time out. And I actually didn't even have 100% crew yet, because I just switched it over from the G-Sword. So the performance of it this match was a little lacking, just because I didn't have the crew at 100%. It's only at like 75 still. I think it was at 100% after this game. But this tank, what, is it worth it? Like I said, probably not for most people. But I've had a few had some conversations with people that have gotten it. Majority of them are other players around my level, I guess, and what they think of it. And I feel they actually like it, but they all agree it's a pretty niche tank, and you need maps that are very dependent on camo and view range to make it work, which, as I mentioned, I probably know other videos, it's kind of rare. A majority of our maps kind of lend themselves to more head-on-head kind of corridor, very small maps, versus maybe PC where the maps are a little more wide open, where you could actually make use of the camo and to get that nice assisted damage that you're looking for in this vehicle. And honestly, the camo is it's disgustingly good, actually. You can see how low profile this tank is. I mean, it's only slightly worse than the Vanguard or ELC even 90s that you see so much of on the tier 8 games. So you can get away with some pretty disgusting stuff, at least I've noticed so far. I've had a couple other good games where I've used the camo to a varying degree. Nothing I'm going to put on the channel quite so, but picking up maybe 4,000 to 5,000 assisted, and I've seen games that are even better than that. And here's where it struggles though, getting YOLO'd by T100 LTs. I have HE loaded though for this guy, so we're just going to put one into him for a whopping 485. But yeah, this is where this thing really struggles, is brawling other light tanks. You don't want to brawl over light tanks, you will lose. I got attacked by a Sheridan, I believe, one game, and I just got utterly wrecked. Because if you don't know, the DPM on this thing is 1700, which is worse than the WZ. What you'd rather do is be in this kind of situation against other lights where you can kind of just snipe them like this, and it's a little more viable. And again, I don't mind the idea of it not being a T100 LT where it's doing what this guy is, or better than hopefully what this guy's doing. But I don't mind that idea, but it still needs a little bit more DPM. An 11.5 second reload on a 105 at tier 10 is just ridiculous. It's crazy. Even if they gave it like where it had a 9.5 second reload on the 105, I'd be completely happy with that. It's not going to be the most amazing DPM monster in the world, but right now with the current meta of the maps, it needs to be able to defend itself on those maps that we have. And right now, it just simply doesn't in its current state. And I'm sharing it on the map, this first game, that is literally like the ideal for this. There's like, I'd probably say 6 or 7 maps that are just ideal for this tank. Mount Ofka, Proc, Westfield, maybe Muravanka, depending. Let's see. Live Oaks had a good game in this thing. Some other ones that could be workable. I mean, Steps is another good one that could be good for this thing. The weather variants, Erlenberg. Maybe there's like 10 maps this could work on. But we all know the map rotation right now is a little iffy at best to say. So I'd like to see it buffed a little bit. Again, I don't have the greatest idea for it, but again, I know a clanmate who did put a little bit of an idea out there on Reddit. Zoran put something out for maybe a slight workaround for this tank, and hopefully, like they did with the UDES, they'll look at this and see that not many people are playing it, which is already kind of true. We've already seen like a lack of them in matchmaking. People are just giving up on the line a lot. So hopefully it receives a bit of a buff, especially to the reload. That's just, if that happened, and maybe buff the engine power back up, it would be more viable. Again, it shouldn't be the strongest in terms of doing what Sheridans or T1LTs do in terms of their playstyle, but it should at least be able to fight back a little bit. Because put in perspective right now, the reload is greater than the reload on 105 on tier 8 premium tanks like the Type 59-2 or King Dragon. You will lose in a fight against them almost. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, to say so myself. But there are some good aspects of the gun, and why we dismiss a shot. But it actually is the second most accurate gun on a tier 10 light tank. The Panzerwagon's first is .35 accuracy. This one's got .37, which is quite nice. It's still derpy. It's still .37 accuracy, but it's not whatever the hell the T1LT's gun that only hits when you're moving. So better in that regard. It also has pretty decent pen, and I kind of prefer the ammo that it has. It's the only tier 10 light that actually has AP as the standard loadout. T100LT does have it as a premium round, but I like the AP round at tier 10. That's nice. Doesn't have to do with the crazy angling effects that kind of can happen with APCR, so prefer that. With, I think it has 248, let me double check here, on the standard AP rounds, which is pretty good. It's not bad. I think it may be the highest of the tier 10 lights. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm not a stats guy always, but and then 268 on the APCR, which is good. A couple of the others have higher on their heat round premium, and that's just a dependence on what you like. I don't care for heat in light tanks too much, just because of how I play them. So I kind of prefer having the APCR as the premium round. It means I can just rely on like RBRT if I'm moving a lot easier if I need to, versus having a heat round just going to spaced armor and not doing any damage because heat is absorbed by that kind of stuff. So kind of what I prefer. And then only 60mm of pen on the HE, which again is kind of odd. I wish in the theme of the British tanks that it got the Hesh rounds. It would be really nice actually. Make the tank a little bit more unique as well. So maybe that could be a change. I don't know. I don't really see that happening, but you know, we'll get there when we get there, I guess. Again, it is nice. This thing got nearly a 50% increase in ammo capacity. So it went from 20 rounds to a whopping 35, which is more than like the 13105, and the same as the Panzerwagen, and this has more alpha. So you can do a lot more damage. You just need a game that lasts forever, honestly. So, you know, it works. It's a very niche tank. And again, I don't recommend probably the average player to grind these, especially if they're just getting into light tanks. I think I heard it best somewheres on his Facebook page, shockingly enough, that these tanks are not the greatest, obviously. But they do have, I do enjoy them, and they do have like a high skill cap, I guess, to make them really work well. So I like that. You have to rely near the V range and camo mechanics in the game to make them work. As you see, we use the bush 100 meters away, and he doesn't even spot us. So there's a little taste of the camo for you. But yeah, they're very not new player friendly at all, and I'm okay with that. But again, it needs to be a little bit better for everyone, and I know most of you agree. Just to make it viable to play, as we do pick up 5k damage, Top Gun, and a little bit of assisted damage to that game. Not too surprising, we only got 1200 because again, I did not have a fully trained crew this game, as it was my first game in the tank. So kind of unsurprising, but not too surprising we saw that good of a result on Mount Ofka. But second game is on a map that's not really great for light tanks, especially from this spawn. As we get fjords in the Manticore, and if you know fjords, it's basically corridors to a certain extent, minus this area in the northern spot where late game you can kind of get away with some stuff, spotting wise, but for the most part it's really not a light tank friendly map at all. But you're going to see what we're going to be able to do with this game. We're going to work the cam a little bit at the end as well, so you'll see that in action. Hopefully I can get some pretty decent assisted games in this thing in the future, because you know I'm going to have to try to 3-mark it, because I have to have all the tier 10 lights 3-marked. Plus it'll give me something to work on now that I have the grind finished, and give me something to work on to keep me playing the game a little bit and keep me interested. So fun for me. I get to play the worst tech tree light tanks for the next month or so. Woohoo! Fun for me. So we do pick a little bit of assist here. It's not this isn't a bad position if you ever play fjords in a scout. You can sometimes get some decent side shots early on of people going carelessly onto this flank down here. As you see, there's Super Conk, Chief, and E5 all pushing down there, and we're just hoping that one of them makes the mistake of going too close and cutting between the mid buildings, where we can put one of our shots into them and get a little bit of early damage, which is always kind of the goal of light tanks on these type of maps. There's some spots like this where the Super Conk is crossing, and there we go. We pick up another shot, or first shot of damage. And your role in these kind of maps isn't so much to spot too much, because again, there's really not many places to scout, except for where on the other spawn, where that Panzer wagon is right now, there's a bush where you can spot our spawn crossing. But unfortunately for him, he's facing 2 good players that know exactly where that bush is, exactly where people go, and we're going to say hello to him as he tries to poke that bush once again. Yeah, I don't really go there if I know there's a very good player, or I see I'm in the bush and start seeing barrels turn towards there, because it's stupidly obvious that there's somebody in that position at some point as you put another one into him, and he's forced out of that position, and I think not taken out quite yet. But you can see we're not really going to be too aggressive in the Manticore at this point. Just because, again, 11.5-second reload, we're not going to be all over the place trying to brawl and stuff, but we're going to try to help this E4 and see if we can't keep him in the game, as they're pushing very hard over here, and we have a few tanks coming over to help him, including a T100LP who's just going full ham, because that's what T100LPs do. And at this point, I'm also trying not to sit still too much, because there's still 2 arties in the game, and we were literally sat in the middle of an open field in a paper tank. So we're trying our best to move around a little bit here to make it a little harder on the squares to hit us, but there's not much we can really do if RNG says no. And we're just taking out the tanks that are lowest health first, as what you really want to do, focus the low health targets as much as you can. So we finish him off, and we actually pick up all 3 kills on these guys, which is nice. But probably would have been better served if we were in, say, a Sheridan or something like that. We probably could have got another couple of shots into that flank as they were pushing that. So now it's a little trickier. We're trying to pick up, okay, what do we do now? I don't want to push up top, because there's really nothing up there except for one lone Panzer wagon, and that would just put us out of this fight completely. At least I would think so. So at this point, they're all in the bowl, it looks like. So me and Teddy are going to go into this way, as Artie takes a punt at us and luckily misses. Going to keep that in mind, that the Artie is looking at us, so I don't want to spend too much time in this spot again, because it's an easy Artie shot as well. As we have these 430U and this 113, kind of a crossfire. The 113's got himself in a corner now, so we can't really deal with him without taking a shot, but we can put a few into the 430U. But again, we just want to be aware that Artie is here, and unfortunately, I think he's going to take Petty out with an AT round to the side of his head. Yep, right there. It's unfortunate for us, And now we're kind of in an awkward position. I'd really like to get the 113 out of the game, but our G-Sword does that for us. And now the 430U is pushing us, which isn't a bad idea for him, rather than getting shot in the rear. But already takes out the G-Sword, and we do put one into him. And now we're going to try to bait him around this tank, see if we can't fluff a shot from him, just using our small size. And we actually are able to do that, and see if we can't finish him off. But we get lazy right there and just try to RBRT, and that's not enough pen to go right through a 430U. And unfortunately for me, he's going to put one into us. And now just trying to aim and get back in a position to hopefully put another shot and kill him before he's able to reload, and we're able to put it into his lower plate, take our time, and aim rather than being lazy and just trying to take the easy road there. And now I'm just trying to be already safe, so I'm in cover and trying to figure out, okay, I know where the Yag is based off earlier. He's by their base, at least that's what we're all talking in chat right now. And at this point, trying to figure out where the E5 is at. That's the mystery vehicle. Where is their E5? Likely pushing the south spawn, but at this point, we don't quite know. He could be over here. We're going to check this spot first just to make sure, and sure enough, never mind, our cat starts getting taken. And wait a second, there's two on the cat. There's no, did the Yag get all the way back? That's what we're asking. Really, there's no way. There's no way he got all the way back without getting spotted. So likely it's actually the bad chat already. Knowing that, but not totally knowing that, I could have loaded HE here to one-shot the bad chat already. But that's still a risk, because there's still like the factor that maybe it's the Yag somehow. I doubtful, but it's not. But we don't take that risk. We put one into the bad chat already. They're not looking this way. We kept ourselves unspotted going in to defend the base. And now we're just waiting for our IS-4 to go in to distract him again. And there we go. Finish off the arty. And now we can hopefully go in behind this E5 so he's getting shot from two different angles regardless of my wonderful DPM. And yeah, pick him off for the Top Gun. And we still have two tanks left to deal with. Their Jaeger, who is sat in their base, which is going to be a bit tricky. Our T1LT is actually dealing with him right now. But he's only on 10 health. So he could literally get tapped by the Jaeger and find himself in, well, back to the garage. But right now he is shooting him and doing some damage to him. He's got him, I think it's rear right now, as Betty is saying. But unfortunately, something happens. He gets tapped, or I don't know, something. He gets killed. Not too surprising. He's on 10 health. But we're able to get one shot. Hopefully, yep, there we go. Blind into the Jaeger, leaving him on probably about 800 hit points at this point. And we know where the arty's at. We all know where the arty's going to be out on this map, on the peninsula, on fjords. And see, even if you can just avoid having situations where you're brawling with their lights or anything like that, again, you just want to avoid that in this tank. You can still do some decent damage, you just need long games. I'm not saying that makes the tank good. I could probably make any tank with a, somebody said, make a game look good in an auto scooter with a Nerf gun yesterday on stream, which made me laugh. But, yeah, honestly, take all this with a grain of salt, because I could make this thing probably look way better than it actually is, and some other players can too. But it's still not awful. It's still playable in my eyes. I'm still going to play it and enjoy it. I try to keep a positive attitude with this game. I really do. It's something new and refreshing to play, and that's all I really care about. In the basic way. Obviously, I want tanks to be competitive, obviously. But I do enjoy having some new content to play, regardless. As somebody who's grinded most of the lines that are enjoyable to him at this point, at this stage. But I do have a couple new vehicles. You will see the Progetto 65 with a replay very soon. Probably the next game you will see. And you will also see some Cromwell games that are very, let's just say, different than the norms in the near future. So look forward to that. But yeah, a couple tanks that haven't been on the channel yet. And you may be looking forward to that, I suppose. So As we're trying to use this little end engagement here, we have the Yag, and we're using the low profile very effectively here, and also the camo pretty effectively. There's a couple of bushes we're trying to make use of to spot this guy. It's kind of predictable. There's only 2 we can go in, so if he gets targeted, he could just blind fire, but he keeps looking at the IS-4, and that's fine with me, as we put 1 into him and finish him off for the Bradley Walters on Fjords in the Manticore. Not a bad result at all, to say the least, in the tank that has no DPM. Uh, and look at the post-game results after that one, as we picked up, again, Ace Tanker, Bradley's, Devastator, Scucci's also nice, and 5,700 damage because of the blind shot as well. So a solid game on a map that usually isn't very friendly to lights. Sometimes games just work out that way, and we were able to pick up a very good result in the Manticore on Fjords. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of series of videos, and I will catch you guys next time. See you.